I was, you know, desperate to find my way back to me, and I couldn't. Didn't matter what I did, I just couldn't find it. I think that was part of it, that getting poorly, either, you know, depression or, you know, the anxiety, all of it, the panic, the sleep loss, it took completely away my confidence in life. And the sea brought it back. I was kind of going through life doing what we all normally do, you know, working very long hours, looking after family members, trying to keep, you know, everybody happy, trying to go to everything that everybody was inviting me to. Thinking you're doing all of the right things in being extremely busy, but all of a sudden became really, really tired, really exhausted, horrific fatigue, and just could no longer carry on. It was almost like my poor brain and body just crashed through severe exhaustion. And through that, I pretty much had a nervous breakdown, which was, in a way, a breakdown of my nerves, and got something called myoclonic jerking, which is where my muscles went into kind of a nervous state. So whilst I was just trying to rest at night time, my muscles would keep jumping. And the only kind of reason or cause that the neurologist could come up with was that I'd completely exhausted my body. There was points at night, because I wouldn't sleep for entire nights, because my body was doing something on its own that I had no control over, and it was, you know, it was petrifying. I was petrified. I would be lying in bed all night long, not being able to sleep, and obviously through severe exhaustion as well. You're very emotional because I was so tired. So I would often just lay awake and cry. It was one of the loneliest times I feel that I've had in my life so far. So I'd find myself kind of out very early morning with my camera, because I really like taking sunrise photos. And I'd go down to Battery Rocks and just sit and wait for the sunrise. And so that's where I met some of the Battery Rock swimmers, and I met Mike. And the swimmers kind of found me really and invited me to start swimming with them.
I try and go every day, whatever the weather. In fact, sometimes the weather is part of the whole experience. And sometimes you just meet people that you feel you've known for all your lives. And I love swimming with Katie because it's a very calming influence to have one other person swimming at the same speed and with the same style.
Mike kind of came along at the right time, really, and I look back now and think how amazing, in the sense of that it was meant to be, which you can only ever link up the dots, can't you, when you look back. Mike's an ex-lifeguard, so obviously with some of my fears, I felt really safe swimming next to him. And he was very good at kind of sneakily saying, I'll just be here and you swim off there. And before I knew it, I'd kind of done bits on my own. You get in, you know, it's freezing cold, you get this real rush of that you're doing something that's completely out of the ordinary. But it really kind of energises you, and it's something that makes you feel really proud of yourself, because you feel like you're doing something that's quite brave. And I think what had happened with me, because I'd got poorly, was all my confidence was completely knocked out of me. It made me feel brave again, and gave me a tiny little bit every morning of me back. That I'd get out and think, I can swim in the sea, so there's a part of me still there. And, you know, my son hasn't lost his mum, and I haven't lost me. And slowly that little bit of bravery, and it was a really long time, but it kept creeping back in, that I'd walk away and feel a little bit like I had a tiny little bit of strength and a tiny bit of capability left.
It is that thing about, you get lots of knocks in life and you always think, is it me? You know, everybody else is cleverer than me. Why is this happening? But if you've done something that is exceptional, and whenever you say to people, we go swimming before the sun rises in the sea, in the wild sea, suddenly their perception of you changes a little bit and they think, I couldn't do that. So that, in building up a sense of self-worth and achievement, is massively important. And it's beautiful to be involved in that. I know that sounds a bit airy-fairy, but it is. I'm witnessing what's going on with her on a regular basis.
The sea was something that kind of offered me its own support in a way, that I felt looked after by it and supported by it, because I could just get in and let myself kind of be, like I said earlier, be part of something that's bigger than me. There's something just incredible about being out in the sea at dawn, kind of out in the middle of the bay, and sometimes we stop, Mike and I, and we just kind of tread water and float there, and you're just looking at the sunrise, and it just feels like it's just you and the sea and the sun. It doesn't feel like anything else matters. You know, work, running homes, food shopping, cooking, you know, we all do it. We all get involved and het up in all of those things, all of those have-tos and all of that busy. But being in the sea and being in the calm of the morning kind of reminds you that we're just part of the natural earth, and if we don't spend enough time doing that, our poor bodies and minds completely get overloaded and can't cope. It's brought me back to complete health. I feel completely well again, completely me again, which was lovely because I really never thought I'd get back to there. And the swimming, I just feel, is something that has been played a huge role in that. The sea has played a huge role in that for me. And every time I look at it, I feel like it's saying, come on, you've got to come back in. Because if I don't go for a couple of days, I think actually I'm not looking after myself and I'm not doing that thing that helps to keep me well.